Ladies and gentlemen, oh my god, it's Wednesday, January 8th, 2014, and this is me talking from outer space. You might be worried about my lack of oxygen supply, but don't worry, I'm really good at holding my breath. This is the Day 9 Hearthstone Decktacular, Episode 4, where we're definitely not bad, and we may not be very good at all, but we try real hard. Today we're going to look at StrifeCro's legendary Druid deck. Now, as you might imagine in StarCraft and StarCraft 2, I've had 15 years of RTS experience and used the tools I have acquired to generate knowledge. And here, good chunks of what I'm saying are from conversations with Liquid, Cheth, and Case, and StrifeCro. Just want to make sure we give them due credit and understand the purpose of this show to talk about the deck, a little bit about its construction, and for me to do an exercise in trying to understand WTF is going on. Yes! In other very exciting news, I'd like to let you know that next week's Fun Day Monday topic is the following. Play a 2v2 where you both select Terran and lift off at the start of the game and move your bases somewhere else. The We Have Lift Off Fun Day Monday is always a classic, but in 2v2s it has yet to be tried. So why not try it on Monday? Submit those to Monday at day9.tv. Ooh! Let's talk a little bit about the Druid in the context of the metagame. Now, normally people use metagame as a term that is a fancy excuse for losing. But here's what metagame generally means. The trends of what everyone else are doing, and as a result, your selection of strategy to combat against it. In StarCraft, we recoil from use of metagame. We talk about how important it is to have good strategies, because even if people are commonly using a certain strat, you don't have to pre-commit to a strategy in StarCraft 2. In Hearthstone, you do have to pre-commit to a deck choice. Consulting to a metagame in that circumstance actually is useful. What are people running nowadays? Any deck that would cause you to call them an asshole. That's what they're running. Murloc Warlocks. There's a lot of assholes, okay? That's all I'm really saying at this point in time. There's the Mage Burn You to Death. The Mage deck that I like to call the Yeah, I did have a Pyroblast deck. Any variant of those are the most popular. And what we're starting to see is that it's the Rogues always had some pretty good consistency in there too. So those are the three that are really defining a lot of what's going on at the very least. This is why we see decks that have lots of sweepers to clear the Warlocks or to remove the Divine Shieldy dudes. So this is a deck that has been constructed by Sir StrifeCro, and I don't have one of the cards to it. I haven't built it yet. I actually haven't even unmuted Hearthstone yet, but watch my abilities as a commentator and caster to unmute it. I think it's good. Let's talk a little bit about that. Now, what I want to begin with talking about this construction is my experience with the ever so wonderful Cenarius. That says choose one, give your other minions +2/+2, or summon 2/2 treants with taunt. The issue that I had with Cenarius is that I ripped him in a pack and I got an immediate boner. I was so excited because I generally play Druid. It's my highest class. You can even see my golden iron bark protectors that I'm very proud of. And I was like, damn, I get to be Cenarius now. But in a lot of the decks that I've been running with Druid, I tend to be running control sorts of things where I do the sweeping of all the things. Don't really have a lot of creatures out, so I would almost never use it for this first purpose. And the second one, summon 2/2 treants with taunt, seemed pretty good there, but it never really felt that strong in a control deck, so I tended to overlook it a lot. Overlook Cenarius, that is, when I'm making a deck. What we're going to see in this deck is that Cenarius is amazing because of that first thing. Give your other minions +2/+2. We don't need a ton of minions, we only need some. This is almost the Druid Fireball, for instance. If you have 3 minions out, you play Cenarius, and now you're suddenly doing 6 extra damage. So we tend to hold him back. Most of the remainder of the deck is somewhat mid-rangey. But here's what I want to do in terms of walking through what I think is important in the construction because I've dealt with a lot of jerks. That is, Murloc Warlocks. So, one of the big things that's going to come right out the gate is the good removal-y thingies. Wild Pyromancer runs in this deck, yes. Deal 1 damage to all minions. So this is going to be very good against Druid. Very good against the Murloc Warlocks. Some of the other things that are really notable as well are going to be Wrath. Wrath is a card that's almost always good. Deal 3 damage to a minion or deal 1 damage and draw a card. Wrath is amazingly good because of the Druid hero power, I feel. That for 2 power things, you can use the Wrath to draw a card and then just pop him in the face. Also, there's a lot of things that deal 1 damage for Druid decks, so that's excellent. We have Swipe. That's really important, and it's gold, which makes me feel a little bit more cool. Yeah. Swipe is just amazing as a sweeper, and amazing as just a card that deals damage. I can hit him, I can hit his biggest creature and deal 1 damage to all of his others. It's great. What are the other ones that I wanted to look at here? I think that's it. Let me take a look at my stuff. Yeah, okay. So we have some of the big sweepers or the big removal-y type spells right away. And one thing that I don't want to talk about now is the Claw. There is a Claw in here, but I'll leave that aside. Now, we still have to deal with the really aggressive decks in some way. Novice Engineer seems to exist in almost every deck. We have a Loot Hoarder as another thing. These will be the small cards that we're only really running for this card draw purpose and the marginal benefit they gain from being a body to get in the way. In my experience playing, sometimes these turn out to be real heroes. Sometimes you'll get like, a Loot Hoarder all buffed out, and he'll deal like 9 damage or something. And you're like, how 9? And I'm like, sometimes 2 times an integer is 9. Just listen to me. And there's other just durable low creatures. The Golem, the Harvest Golem, is just a really good low drop. So notice, I've put in Cenarius as just a, hey, I want you to understand how Cenarius is there. And a lot of this other stuff is just excellent against aggressive decks. What are some of the other components to this? Oh, another just classic staple of any Druid deck is going to definitely be the Keeper of the Grove. Really, really, really insanely good at aggressive dealing withs, because you can kill a thing by dealing 2 damage, and then you come into the battlefield. And I think that's... Oh, yeah. Just as a backup, we have 1 Starfall. A lot of this deck is going to rely on there being creatures on the board, so we don't want to go too nuts with spells that clear his board. We want to rely more on creatures. So, for instance, Druid of the Claw. Now let's talk about some of the big, scary creatures that are awesome. Druid of the Claw. Charge, or +2 health and taunt. This is an awesome card in general, especially because it only costs 5 mana for what it does. Ancient of Lore, awesome. For 2 big reasons. Obviously, it's a big dude, and it can draw cards against control, but it can, most importantly, restore 5 health against those stupid, frickin' jerkhead mages. And there's more of just the general legendary ones that we're going to be running. Sylvanas, boom, in you go. The Black Knight, boom, in you go. Notice these aren't insanely high drop. I'm not going for the 8 and 9 power. I'm not going for dragons here. And by I mean StrifeCro. StrifeCro also is running a Cairn in some versions of this, but I don't have Cairn. If you don't know Cairn, it's this guy that it's a 4/5 that when it dies it summons a 4/5. I just don't own it. So we're going to run my absolute favorite legendary, Baron Geddon. Baron Geddon says at the end of your turn, deal 2 damage to all other characters. Boom! Deal with it, aggro. So there you go. It's near-ish the same mana cost. Now some of the other great things that are being run is the Defender of Argus, and I waited till now to talk about that because to maximize value of the Defender of Argus, there needs to be a lot of minions. And I don't say this as me conveying knowledge to you out of me being intelligent. I convey this to you because of the number of decks I've put a Defender of Argus in without a lot of creatures and been screwed by it. Because you're sometimes playing it naked and a lot of the time playing it with one creature out there. So we want to have plenty, oh plenty, oh plenty of targets for this Defender of Argus. So great. Some of the other things that I also want to talk about that makes sense to talk about now. There's a lot of burn that exists, like the mage decks. I'm just going to type this in. 2 Earthen Ring Farseers is amazing. Because if it's against a mage, we can heal ourselves. And now we have 4 sources of healing, 2 Earthen Ring Farseers, and 2 Ancients of Lore, not to mention our hero power. And in this position, Earthen Ring Farseer is really good because most of our creatures have a lot of health. Druid of the Claw has 6 health. Sylvanas has 5, Black Knight has 5, Ancient of Lore has 5, Baron Geddon has 5, Cenarius has a bunch. Defender of Argus is going to buff health, and so plenty of time. This is targeted on a creature. So, with this in mind, I also want to note Innervate is pretty dang important for the Wild Pyromancer, in my experience, because it's just a wonderful safety piece. On turn 2, you can play a Wild Pyromancer, play an Innervate, it goes off, and then you can like hero power or do a Wrath for another big sweep. I think the Innervates are super critical with the Wild Pyromancer. And also I put the Innervates in because it can help to accelerate and do some pretty fancy plays. But I kind of left it out because I feel like a lot of people jam the Innervates in there without thinking. They're just like, well, I'm a druid, so Innervate, without much other external consideration. So I'm pretty content to talk about that at the end. Now, I'm pretty sure I'm leaving some stuff out. I have my Keepers, my Starfall. Oh yeah, one thing I did want to talk about is running a Claw. This is a recent learning that I've had that I feel like has been very useful to me. I want to take a look at Earthen Ring Farseer and talk about 2 for 1. This is one card that does like 2 things. It's a 3/3 body and it heals. As a literal 2 for 1, this Harvest Golem is a card that becomes another card. It creates 2 things for him to deal with me only having to cast 1. And a lot of the good decks, or excuse me, a lot of the good cards kind of have this property. Keeper of the Grove. You can kill a thing, and you have a body. Starfall is like a literal X for 1. I can kill 4 things with 1 card. Great. I was running a lot of double claws in my Druid decks. The good old claw. And I just didn't understand why it would be good to run 1 instead of 2, and that's how Case explained it to me. He said that this is a card that can kill 1 of his cards, and that's about it. It's not the sort of thing that has as much efficiency as a Harvest Golem. So the things that are pretty good but not amazing is a good reason to run like a 1 of, as my card game newbie understanding would be. And last but not least, one of the best cards in the game, a good old Thalnos. Now, we have a Loot Hoarder to help us draw a card, we have a Novice Engineer to have us draw a card, we have a Spell Power card that also helps us draw a card. And now we have a Legend, wait for it, Druid. So let's play a game. Oh yeah. Now, I went back up to rank 5 after my appalling run last Friday. And it's because I did a lot of changing to my Druid, my Control Druid, my Subtle Paw. And now here we're going to get to play a game. Now I'm really anxious. And we're going to play it at the end of this and play 2 more. What did you think of this explanation of this deck construction, eh? What did you think? Let me know, because I'm always keeping an eye on the chat. So we're playing a Druid,
I must protect
which is okay.
Nature will rise against you.
So I'm looking at this and I'm saying Loot Hoarder, that's fine, that's great to have in there. Defender of Argus, I likely don't want to have, because I'm probably not going to have... I'm not going to be able to cast it on turn 4. Defender of Argus in this deck has felt to me like a turn 7 play, a turn 8 play, or even a turn 6, but not like a turn 4 or 5 play. Swipe is always good. And I hope that logic is correct. Alright, so we have cards. There's nothing I can do. I'm going to knock some things down. Now, in my control deck, I'm pretty adamant about trying to play this hero power as much as possible, but obviously I'm not playing that, so I'll have to combat against that while simultaneously destroying absolutely everything that I have. Now, I could innervate Swipe, but that seems unbelievably wasteful. I'll just go ahead and play my Loot Hoarder, expect him to hero power, and pop it in the face! Now, even though I'm taking this deck and talking about it, having seen it, about some of the things that go into it, I really wish I could just make decks like this myself. God, I wish. How I wish. So something that I saw Sheth do quite a lot on his stream was when he identified that the Pyromancers were not really going to be needed for sweeping, he would run them out pretty quickly. And I think that's what I want to do here. This is where this could be considered a potential mistake right now, but I mean, I'm looking at my draw. I have some spells that deal damage. I have a Defender of Argus. Maybe I'll be able to draw a creature, and then Defender of Argus my 3/2. So I'm probably going to bring him out. I'm sort of talking to myself about where I think these potential mistakes are, so that way I can, you know, go back and look if I'm having an issue. Because what I don't want, if I'm trying to get better and improve, it's probably a Wrath, I guess. What I don't want if I'm trying to improve is to lose a game and then after the fact be like, I don't know, let me try to figure out now why it didn't work. Yes! Now, as someone who's played an absolute buttload of Druid, I can tell you, if you're doing like control against mid-range, or even aggro, it sucks to run a Wrath for 3 if you don't have a lot of other clear answers. Oh, what a sweetheart. He said he's sorry about that. I really appreciate that.
I hope you like my invention.
Great, we got Mr. Thalnos. I really don't know if I should run out my last Pyromancer here. So I'm going to cop out and just pop him in his face. Right around turn 3 is when I have been trying to identify what he's up to. So this looks like a very control-y kind of Druid. The kind of sweep now, play huge dudes later. I like having my Thalnos and my Swipe in hand. I like having my Thalnos and my Wrath in hand. I started to lisp pretty hard. There's nothing to be ashamed of if you have a lit on accident. So there's a number of choices I have. I can innervate Ancient of Lore, And I kind of like that choice a lot. That obviously is going to give me more cards. I have a body to deal with his 2/3. I can Wrath and Poke. Now, if I were playing my control deck, I might just Wrath, hit him with me, and then Novice Engineer into the face. And I think I'm going to do this. I think. So here's another problem component where I'm really unsure. I'm happy to see that Farseer.
Well played.
And he's given me a well played, so I'm just gonna assert that he doesn't have swipe. But this seems almost certainly reasonable. I mean, this 5/5, or yeah, the Ancient Allure is my most expensive creature that I'm gonna play. Cenarius obviously is the most expensive card I have, but I'm kind of waiting for Cenarius to blast out once my creatures are down. So, I'm pretty content to run him out early and know that almost all my future turns will be pretty nifty. So this could be a Starfire or a Swipe. Okay, so he's going to clear my board. Okay. So there's a number of choices I have right now. In a little bit, I'm probably going to throw down my Farseer and my Defender of Argus on the Farseer and one other creature that I have out. I think what I want to do is just do a very simple Wild Pyromancer Swipe combo. I can also do Wild Pyromancer Wrath. Actually, I like that a little more. So I hit him. Now there's a dude. Oh, the wilds. Maybe that was bad. Maybe that was good. Maybe I am the man. Maybe I'm just some guy. I really like next turn Earthen Ring Farseer, heal myself, Defender of Argus on these two dudes, but he'll probably pop it in the head. Kind of wanted to Swippy Dippy Swipe. So let's see what Mr. Abonshur does. Perfect. So I want to silence that sucker now. But do I want to do it this turn? So I could Earthen Ring Farseer, Defender of Argus, and then the subsequent turn silence and swipe. And I think I like that. I don't have to deal with it now, I think.
My shield for Argus.
And having a 2 health Pyromancer is really nice, just in case. So I'm already feeling significant and powerful, emotionally. It maybe would have been better to throw out the Harvest Golem first. Maybe, I guess. I could have done that and thrown out the Defender of Argus. Yeah, maybe that's better because I'm a little. Okay, so he's going to destroy that one. That is okay. I am thrilled that you have made said choice. So I can silence, pop. Yeah, so I mean, I think this is what I have to do. I'm going to silence this, hit him here, and swipe. Not as delightful a play as I would have liked, but I mean, those are two of his scariest dudes in Sierra. And I have an Ancient Allure out. Nya! Well, at least we got a Boncher thinking. What I like about the feel of this is that I feel as though I have options. I do not feel as though I am hoping for one play. I just have some good cards. Because all my low drop cards let me draw more cards, and all my mid and high drop cards are creatures. Says Abancher. Per usual, the first game of the day is always going to take a century. Well, I think I have a pretty obvious play. Starfall. And then Harvest Golem. I think there really can't be any other play. I mean, technically I could Ancient of Lore, and then my hero power doesn't do anything, and then he can kill it with those 2 cards next turn. Alright. Makepeace13 in chat asked what my opinion on Wild Growth is. I have not found Wild Growth to be good, period. If you can play it really early on turn like 2 or 3, even then I don't even really feel like it's that good. You're spending like an entire card to ideally let you do other things in the future. And Innervate... No! No! Innervate does have the opportunity to combo with things, and it can have value really late, but I mean, Wild Growth, like if you draw a Wild Growth on turn 6, I just have never found a use for it. And technically you can draw a card. Though technically you can draw a card. Ooh. Oh, I do like that claw. Ooh. Ladies and gentlemen, we have options. I kind of want to kill his 2/3, and I will.
For the wild.
Oh, the wild. And then I have a nice play next turn that I can pull off, where I can like hit his 2/4 to kill it, heal it, Defender of Argus. Oh, Ludicolo just finished an arena run. Nice. Yeah, no, I just don't like Wild Growth. I just don't like it. I just think about it and I'm like, nope.
What to do?
And then I think, nope. This game's taking forever, man. So, Umbragness says, you know, you can hold Wild Growth till turn 10 and draw a card, but I think of a card like Novice Engineer that's also 2 mana. It lets me draw a card on any turn. And then, I have a dude.
Do you like to play with?
Hey, that's what I was gonna do. Pops me. And then he wraths me. Brutal. I think he's running our deck. Maybe he saw that I was turning on the stream and he was like, you know, Dan, I've always loved it when you've run into the decks. So we're probably Novice Engineering here, but I'm probably going to top deck Swipe like a boss. Ah, didn't work. Okay. Probably going to top deck Swipe like a boss. Okay, that's also equally nice.
None shall
I'm feeling good about my Defender of Argus. A Defender of Argus. So Backstab 28 says, I feel like running a Savage Roar would synergize really well with this deck, perhaps over Loot Hoarder. Is there a reason you chose not to go down this route? Well, I can tell you the reason that I personally chose not to go down this route is because of the fact that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, is because I'm just trying to mirror the StrifeCro deck. Oh, so Dan Terran talks about I used the pop in the face of the Black Knight, the kill a taunt on a 4/2 when there are things like the 5/10 Ancient of War that has taunt, but I actually just think he's running the exact same deck as me. And that is the only reason. If for some reason I knew otherwise, then this would be one of the worst plays I could possibly make. So let's go ahead and
my shield for Arga.
give a little bit of the shields for Arga.
I'm invincible.
And then let's heal. Shoink. So, see that heal move right there? That's why I think that my play to run out the 3/3, this Earthen Ring Farseer, my other one, that's why I think that running it out earlier was not good, because I can do plays like this. Dan Terran continues to talk about how it's a huge gamble. I don't really feel it's that big of a gamble, because Black Knight isn't just good because it kills a taunt. It's good because, like, for instance, right now, let's suppose that there is an Ancient of War in his deck.
This time for sure.
Yes, we got the Devil Sword.
Mistake.
Even if he does have a 5/10 in his deck, I would have taken some serious beatings from the 4/2 initially. And now our poor, wonderful, wonderful Black Knight is dead anyways. So that's at the very least my logic, is that, like, I put a lot of pressure on him, I ate a swipe. Feeling good. So that's my reasoning that might be bad, but it is my reasoning nonetheless. What up? My name's Cenarius! Ah! Alright, how can we do this? So I can charge, I can taunt as well.
Where shall I strike?
I think I'm actually just gonna run out Mr. Thalnos now. Pop this. Pop that. He's used both. Oh shit, has he used both his swipes? I used one of my swipes. Oh no. Oh crap, do I not? He could have a swipe right now. If he has a swipe, he's better than we are. Uh-oh, there's the swipe. Uh-oh, there's the Pyromancer. No! Oh, we have a Wraith.
I must safeguard.
I must safeguard the land. Alright, so we got some decisions. Oh. Oh, okay, well, good. Well, okay, this is pretty straightforward. Ooh.
Where shall I
I'm gonna run this sucker out now. Kinda wanna get Cenarius up in there. I can give this +2/+2, which is okay. I might do that. I like having a big dude. Okay, so that's a good play by him. And I think it's already pretty clear how I'm going to be playing this out. Hit his 5/5 and... Is he actually just going to armor up? Okay, cool. Let's see what we get. Ooh! Ooh, this is a really good moment because we're going to hit him here. We're going to run out Sylvanas and we're going to swippy swipe. Oh! Oh! Oh yeah, Aquamarina's talking about the decision to taunt instead of charging. I'm like 70% sure he's used both of his swipes.
I have no time.
So he needs something like really glued into magical. Oh well, that's a crap ass. Well, I think it's pretty clear what we do here. I can run out Cenarius. So if I hit here, yeah.
Let none survive.
So this removes the gamble. I get his card, and now I'm gonna summon the Treants. Wait! Damn it! Oh! Oh, guys, I'm not so good. Okay, I forgot that oh god, I forgot. Ah, crap.
I hope you like my
Okay, so here's what I completely, in a split second, thought would happen and didn't think through very clearly. When the two Sylvanuses cancel, in my head I was like, oh yeah, I don't have a creature, so nothing happens. And, he has a creature, so I take his, but because I played mine first and he played his second, first my Sylvanus happens, and then second his Sylvanus happens. So there actually is like a really clear... There is really clear descriptor as to what happens. And I just kind of derped. We're both almost out of cards, and we're just gonna hope that he doesn't have Cenarius here. I kind of wish things just happened at the same time. I just hope he doesn't have Cenarius. My last card is Baron Geddon, which is kind of an awkward thing to have. If he plays Cenarius here... Okay, he doesn't have Cenarius. Maybe Ragnaros he's running?
Where shall I strike?
Where shall I strike? Hello, Baron Geddon. Alright, so it's pretty clear. Pop this sucker.
Feel nature's wrath.
I think I have to. I mean, I don't want to, but I think that I must. This is the longest part 1 to this show ever. We might do like a really quick part 2 and a really quick part 3. Forgive me. And then he Starfalls, and I'm like, oh my god, he's the best player in the world. Come on. You win this one, my friend. Alright, well, Shapeshift is good. A healing touch, you say? Dude, if he's running 2 healing touches, then he got us. I think I know what I want to do.
Feel nature's wrath. For the wilds.
Well, who knows? Well, I don't know what's gonna happen.
Nature will rise against you.
What's his last card?
Well played.
He has a card left. He has Innervate! I have Innervate!
I can see.
Yes! Guys, we won with no cards in our deck and no cards in our hand. Against a player with nothing in his deck and nothing in his hand. And this, I think, is really why this StrifeCro deck is legendary, because you can literally win from outer space. So we're going to go to a break and come back and battle again in part 2. Break time.